to the Mantis Show, the only podcast featuring an insect, an inanimate object, and spooky, scary stories. With me today is my audio engineer co-host, Box Watterson.
Boo.
Boo. Oh! And I'm your host, Mantis. Man, coming in this week for a very special, very spooky, scary, skeletal Halloween episode. Halloweeny. Ooh. You ever heard anybody call it that? Halloweeny?
Halloweeny?
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I changed
I'm pretty sure that was a movie.
I changed it. I made it Halloween-y.
I'm pretty sure that was like a B movie or something for kids that showed on Disney Channel, Halloweeny or something like that.
I know they have the Halloween Town. I love those movies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. There's something about the main character, though. Larnie, whatever the fuck her name was. I just didn't like that actress.
Yeah.
I don't know. She took the whole, I'm 13, I'm practically grown. She literally said that in one of them. I was like, you don't know. You don't know the woes of this world.
Shit.
You ain't been through nothing yet.
You haven't lived to the age where you're not going house to house to get candy. You're the motherfucker that's sitting inside watching TV, waiting for little kids to come knock on your door, and you're like, hey, here's some candy.
Yeah, you don't know that the real monsters live inside of you.
That's right.
They're not under the bed or in the closet. They're in the fucking depths of your soul.
That's a little too real, but yeah, that's true.
Is it making you uncomfortable, Box?
A little bit. It's made me do some introspection. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely true. I got some demons in there.
Yep, some demons inside. Man, Halloween. Speaking of trick-or-treating, though, Halloween, how old were you when you stopped trick-or-treating?
I think the very last time I did it was when I was, I want to say 14.
Man, I don't even want to say mine.
But then I remember one time I was 16 and I didn't have a costume or anything, and I saw that my neighbor had one of those little buckets just sitting outside. They're just like, grab a piece, because they were too fucking lazy to like answer the door.
Oh yeah.
So I was just like, man, I'm gonna go get me some. It's like, I don't care how old I am. So I just walked outside, went next door, and just grabbed a huge handful, and then walked back inside and was on my computer.
Man, we used to carry around, since there was this one neighborhood we always hit, and it makes it sound like it's like a fucking bank run. We hit this neighborhood.
Oh, dude, there are certain neighborhoods you gotta fucking hit.
Yeah, well, we used to carry around pillowcases. Because the candy would get so heavy. Well, this neighborhood, dude, was just a bunch of rich people, and they all did that. They would leave out, literally, there was one person that had a laundry basket, like a massive laundry basket.
Oh, those are the best.
Filled it completely with candy. And we'd hit that one last, just to be, like, ethical about it. We'd go hit there about 8, 9 o'clock. There's no more trick-or-treaters out, and there would be a gigantic thing still filled with candy.
Yeah.
We would literally take it and dump the entire thing into our thing. Literally. Like, we could just go to that house and have all the candy we ever wanted. And I'm pretty sure they kept putting it out every year because they're like, man, we'd leave a couple pieces. Yeah. Just so they'd be like, man, there was a lot of kids that came here.
That's right.
We're
very popular.
Yeah, when I'm away on business, good thing. And I mean, dude, they gave full fucking size candy bars. They gave baby Gatorades.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was incredible. They would have all these little baggies that had all these little. Oh man, you don't even know. They gave the Krabby Patty gummies.
Yeah.
And all variations of that. The hot dogs, the pizzas, everything.
Oh man.
Yeah, these people were fucking legit, dude.
I've had the exact opposite experience because I used to live in the ghetto for a little portion of my life, and Halloween in the ghetto is very different. You go around trick-or-treating, and you'd be like, go up to a house, and you're like, trick-or-treat.
Are you a cop?
Dressed as Darth Vader, this little white kid in a ghetto neighborhood, just being like, trick-or-treat, and be like, oh, here's some heroin needles. Sell it to your daddy. He owes me money.
That's offensive.
It's something,
what the fuck, Box? Oh, my God. Yeah, there was a couple neighborhoods I've been in before that were like, here's an apple. And it was one of those apples that looks like somebody's dropped it a bunch of times and there's like cuts in it and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm not going to eat this. Thank you, but no.
Oh, man. Have you seen those like memes of people like, oh, man, look at the shit that they're giving these kids. It's just some dude that just like glued a knife to a lollipop. He's like,
Dude, I saw one where somebody took onions and they made them look like caramel apples.
Oh,
dude, that's me right there, buddy.
That's brutal.
I gotta do it. I'm gonna fucking do that someday.
It's fucking brutal.
I don't know. I feel like that's something though. Like the police would show up at your house. Like, what kind of fucking joke is this?
Yeah.
What are you trying to play?
You piece of shit.
You piece of shit. Now give this kid fucking heroin needles like they came for.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We trying to make a business transaction here, and you trying to give out some jokes.
Yeah, that ain't fucking funny. These are kids, motherfucker.
It's hard out in the streets.
Yeah. So, this week, I think that we should hold to the whole Halloween tradition of spooky, scary stuff.
Oh yeah, spoopy.
Yeah, did your parents ever tell you like scary stories and stuff as a kid?
No, I was a pretty frightened child to begin with. Oh, God. Like, anytime I would watch my parents were like, "Oh yeah, he's like 6. He can handle like Saw."
Yeah, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is fine.
Yeah. He can handle all those movies. But every time I try to pretend to be a man, I'm just like, yeah, I'll watch it. I ain't scared. And then I'm just like, I'm just really cold right now. I gotta have this blanket with me, It's really cold in here.
Oh man, why is my eyes so cold? I should shut them and put the blanket over my head.
Yeah, it's really cold in here. I'm just gonna hide underneath this blanket for a minute. I mean, not hide. I'm just gonna warm up.
Yeah, your parents are probably just like, man, he really just loves the smell of his own farts. That's why he
right.
does that.
Yeah.
He just wants to hotbox in there.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
So
they didn't have to take those measures. So
there's two different types of parents. There's types of parents that tell kids scary stories because they want to instill fear into them, and like they want to just give them like a spooky, fun, kind-hearted little like, ooh, isn't that scary? And then there's the parents that tell kids scary shit, so they keep them from doing something. Or that was my case.
Yeah,
that was mine and my brother's case. So we got into a lot of shit when we were kids, all the time. All the time we were like, we were going outside at night when we weren't supposed to. We were fucking around and like crawling under the house and going out in the woods. And my mom would, of course, flip shit because she's like, it's 10:30, it's pitch black outside. Where the fuck are my kids?
Yeah.
So my mom devised this, should I say, super villain, scary character. This character.
Yeah.
And my mom would invoke stories of this said character, this entity, every single time it was dark outside and me and my brother were out fucking around. So his name was Rawhead.
Rawhead. Yeah, you told me about Rawhead.
You don't fuck around with Rawhead.
Dude, that just sounds like the scariest fucking name.
It's like he's got a head, but it's raw.
Rawhead.
But you don't know why it's raw. It's raw, though.
Oh, my God.
So she would say that Rawhead, if we went outside without an adult, that Rawhead would get us.
Oh,
that Rawhead,
man.
He got kids. He would get them. She never told me what he did or why he needed kids. She just talked about Rawhead. And I was like, what's Rawhead? And she's like, oh, he's scary. He's really scary. Rawhead is. And I'm like, well, how do I know if he's near? And my mom, I remember she's like, like kind of looking around frantically, and she's like, there, that right there. That's how you know he's been here. And she pointed, you know how when walnuts fall out of trees and they're no longer green?
Yeah.
And they start to turn black and they get shrivelly like giant raisins?
Yeah.
She's like, Rawhead left those. That's where those come from. And I'm like, oh my God.
Rawhead's been everywhere.
Rawhead's been here. So I remember there'd be nights to where I'd go outside and I'm like, and I'd be like, I'm going to play near the swimming pool. And I'd go up to this little like blow up swimming pool and I'm like, and I'm like splashing. And then all of a sudden I see floating in it one of those little Rawhead thingies. And I'm like, oh God. I'm like looking in the woods and I'm like, who is it? Who is there?
Rawhead.
Rawhead. And I'd like run back into the house, lock the door, and I'm like, and I'm,
oh my God.
Every time out of breath, dude. And I confronted my mom about this. And I'm like, Mom, where in the fuck did you come up? What's Rawhead? Why did you tell me that when I was a kid? She's like, oh, I don't know. I just made it up because y'all were always getting into shit. I'm like, I'm like, you're a fucking awful person, Mom. That haunted me for years.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Yeah, she always did that. Mom is never short of like scary stories though. Like they were always a little bit too close to reality though.
Yeah, your mom is very superstitious, so I imagine she has lots of like spooky stories.
You know what she told me one time?
What?
So apparently there was one time whenever we were kids, me and my brother, I was like 4 years old. My brother was 2. And we were in the back of the car. She had a friend with her. And we were in car seats and I was asleep. I was completely knocked. And they were driving up over this hill. And she said that they were driving and then there was a cemetery at the top of this hill. It said a lot of the trees and stuff came clear and, it was a really wooded area. And then just randomly in the middle of nowhere, there's this cemetery. Well, she said she was driving and then all of a sudden a dude jumped out in the road in front of their car. And he was just standing there. She saw his side view profile and he had like a windbreaker uniform on.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just had he had a hat on. And she said that he went and he took the hat off and he went and he slammed his hands on the car and he looked into the window and there was a guy standing in front of her and he didn't have a face. And I'm like, what do you mean he didn't have a face? She's like, he didn't have a face. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean? Like, was it just a blank slate? And literally the only answer I've ever gotten out of her is, he didn't have a face. I'm like, was it a mask? She's like, no. She's like, if it was a mask, there's no way he could see out of it. She said he did not have a fucking face. She said it scared the life out of her. Because literally this was so far away from anything that somebody couldn't have walked there.
Yeah.
This was in, dead in the center of the country in the mountains, dude.
Yeah.
And this is a super old cemetery. And if there were any vehicles anywhere near, you'd see them.
Yeah.
Anyway, she said there's no car up there. There was a guy, and he just did not have a face. She said, I've never been more convinced of something I've ever seen in my life. He didn't have a face.
That's spooky.
I'm like, and she's like, and your brother looked right at him. He wasn't scared, but you were asleep. I'm like, he didn't wake me up. Let me see a motherfucker without a face. I'm like,
what kind of a brother is he?
Yeah.
Be like, hey, look at this freak. He doesn't have a fucking face.
Hey, nerd. Here, smell my finger. Oh, wait, you fucking can't.
Oh, you loser.
You don't have a nose because you don't have a fucking face.
No face. No face.
Yeah. That's the type of shit my mom fucking tells me when I'm a kid. Like,
yeah.
I'll get Rawhead and his friend old No Face to come fucking get you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I've had my fair share of well, let me ask you first. Have you ever had like anything spooky happen to you? Like
No.
Anything you couldn't explain?
No, nothing really. Like just normal shit that spooks a kid.
Do you believe in ghosts?
No, not really.
Me neither. I've never really believed in ghosts, but I have had a few things happen to me that are absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
And they cannot be explained by any conventional explanation.
Yeah.
And everything, the only reason anybody's ever even heard these stories is because if this happened to me, it is severe enough and it is believable enough and it's corroborated by another person being with me. And I wouldn't even tell it if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
I know I'm not just hallucinating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I've known you for a long time and you're not the motherfucker to just be like, yeah, I was abducted by aliens.
Yeah.
And the Illuminati and all this shit. It's like, if anybody came up to you like that, you'd be like, all right, motherfucker, where's your proof?
Right. Well, my encounters with the unknown, should I say,
yeah,
they're unlike a lot of other people's because a lot of other people have experiences to where they're like, oh, I just felt a cold chill come over me.
Yeah.
Or, I thought I heard something. Or, oh, my cabinet door slowly creeped open.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, the foundation of your house isn't level, so that's probably what it is.
Yeah, your house is like 80 years old.
Yeah. It was the wind. I'm the guy that like a ghost could slap me in the face and I'd be like, yeah, it's a fucking wind.
Yeah.
But I'll start off with this story. So my brother and I, as you can probably already tell, we grew up in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And you already know this, the listeners know. We grew up in the middle of nowhere. So something we did when we were kids, a lot of, when we were like 10 years old, stuff like that, we'd ride four-wheelers all the time. All the time. We'd been on them and around them our whole life. We stayed safe and everything, but we raised hell. Well, we used to have a rental property. So we lived on this mountain. You could, at the very base of it, we had a rental property. You could drive up this huge hill. You were at our house. It came to like a plateau. And then you could drive up another hill, and there'd be another plateau where we had a rental property. And then you can there's like a mountain top that just keeps going up behind it. Well, we had a rental house burned down on that last plateau. So it was literally just this huge plot of land that had nothing on it, just flat.
Yeah.
Nothing. All the shit had been demoed, all the shit had been taken out, and we no longer had anything there. So me and my brother would like do racetrack like donuts around this huge dirt plot because it gets so hot up there. There's no trees to like to kind of shade the area, so the dirt got really dry after a while, and without anybody living there, it was just dirt.
Yeah.
There's no grass or anything left. So we'd ride our four-wheelers up there. Well, there was one day, it was a particularly hot day. I'd say it was towards the end of the summer. It was probably a good 85, 90 degrees outside. Super dry, super dusty. So we were driving our four-wheelers, and we had made such a dust cloud, dude, that it literally looked like a fucking solar eclipse, like a partial eclipse. It was so, like, most of the light was blocked out by this dust.
Yeah.
It was insane. You would have thought that there would have been a stick of TNT that went off in a pile of sand or something. It was It was just incredible, the amount of dust in the air. So we decided we were going to park the four-wheelers, let them cool off for a little bit, and we were going to let the dust settle. So there was this ravine. There was a ravine over towards the, if you're facing the plateau from the bottom of the mountain or whatever, on your left side, there was this ravine that went up the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And up on that plateau, we went and we parked the four-wheelers next to that ravine, and to our left was the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And there was a tree line, I'd say about 15, 30 feet up the hill from us. And this hill, it had, that type of rock that if you step on, it's like shale or something like that. You step on it, literally, you barely touch it, and a bunch of pebbles just come sliding off the hill, tumbling off the hill.
Yeah.
There's no way you could be so light-footed as to not disturb those rocks.
Yeah.
Climbed up them a million times. I know for a fact that there's no way around it.
Yeah. All the super brittle rocks and shit, the like flat ones and everything that just...
Yeah, they have all the layers.
Yeah.
Yes, those. So, my brother parked his four-wheeler, and I parked mine right next to him. He's sitting on his, and he gets off, and he leans back up against it, and he's facing me. He's facing away from the mountain. And I get off mine, and I'm smiling, I'm dirty, and I sit and I lean back, and I look at him, and I go to say something, and I see something out of the corner of my eye up in the top of my vision, and I look up, and my breath is immediately taken away. The only thing I can do is I slowly raise up my hand, and I'm like trembling.
Yeah.
I can't say anything, and I just point behind him, and I'm like, run, and I just start screaming, run. He turns around, and he sees it. He sees them, should I say.
Yeah.
There are these two figures that come out of the woods, and the only way I could possibly describe them is they're two really tall figures, really skinny. Like, imagine, this is what it looked like, seriously. It looked like two people wrapped in sheets. Two dead people wrapped in sheets.
Like a mummy?
No, like, imagine somebody took a dead body, and they needed to dispose of it, and they wrapped it in a white cloth. And it looked like it had ropes tying it tight to the body of it. Mm-hmm. And there were blood stains all over these sheets. And have you ever seen the movie Silent Hill?
Yeah.
Okay, the nurses on there?
Yeah.
They move very, very, like, if you've never seen this, folks, you need to look up Silent Hill nurses, and you'll get what I'm talking about.
They're super creepy.
Yeah, they move in a very sporadic way, and it's very, like, inhuman. It's very jolty,
twitchy,
jittery, twitchy, like, immediate movements that are just, they're jarring, really jarring, abrupt movements. They're moving like that, and they're wiggling. And they're coming down this hill, and I look them up and down. I get the clear as day fucking look at these things, and they don't have feet. There's nothing touching the ground of these things that are coming towards us. There's no, and I literally had enough time in my shock to look and see that there's no rocks falling. There's nothing going on. There's nobody that lives anywhere near us, and they just came out of the woods. And they're gyrating, and I'm like, and I can't speak, and I'm immediately on my 4-wheeler, and I fucking, this is not my proudest moment. I fucking left.
Leaving your brother there to die?
Yes, essentially. So he couldn't get his 4-wheeler to start, and last minute, he said right before they got to him, his 4-wheeler started, and he fucking bolted, dude. I panicked. I was a fucking puss. I took off. Dude, we were so distraught. We couldn't even articulate what it was that we saw to my parents at the time. And they didn't believe us. What we told them, we couldn't have fully described to them what we had saw, but we told them we saw these things, these monsters, and they didn't believe us.
Yeah.
So literally for a week, like, I wouldn't fucking leave my room. I couldn't sleep. And I'd say about 4 years ago, I realized that repressed memories are a thing.
Yeah.
I realized that if you see something that is that traumatic to you, that your brain literally shuts it off.
Yeah.
Because I remembered that this happened to me. I remembered it.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? This is insane. There's no way that happened to me. Oh my God.
Yeah. And didn't you, because, you've already told me this story, and I still don't understand it. But, like, after you remembered it, didn't you ask your brother?
Yeah.
And you were like, hey, did this really happen, or am I just making this shit up?
He said, I don't want to talk about that. He said, I don't want to talk about those things. He's like, man, that really bothered me.
Yeah.
He's like, I really don't know what those things, because me and my brother, we're no pusses when it comes to this stuff. We're not wussies.
Yeah.
But man, that really bothered me. And it really bothered him, and he still won't talk about it with me.
God.
I'll be like, and I was literally like, is this what you saw? He's like, yes. Yes, it is. That's exactly what I saw. But you could see the clear distinction, the difference in width at the top where the head is. You saw the shoulders.
Yeah.
You saw the hips. You saw the arms tied down to the sides. And it was literally like, blood chilling.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be, dude.
Yeah, dude. That's one of those things, man. I've never had anything even remotely close to anything like that ever happen to me. So I can't, I can imagine, I got this picture in my head of, you describing it and how everything's going down. But I just still can't imagine it being a real thing. But I've known you for so long. You're not a bullshitter. And that's the thing that bothers me the most about this story, is the fact that I know you're not a bullshitter. So that's the thing that I can't wrap my head around, because you're just like me. You'd be like, oh, that didn't fucking happen.
Okay, buddy. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've never, I've searched the internet for stuff like, there's nothing. I can't find any explanation for it. I don't know. And what really got me was the first thing I thought, I was like, it's just some motherfuckers dressed up walking.
Yeah.
But there's no feet. They weren't touching the ground at all.
Yeah.
At all. There was two of them. Right now, they were about 3 to 4 feet apart. And they were just coming right down that hill just as effortlessly as you could not, the way that the speed at which they were moving and the movements that they were making, if you tried to replicate that and do it, and if you did it with your legs bound together and your feet like right next to each other, there's just no way. You would lose your balance.
Yeah.
This was a steep hill. Very fucking steep. very steep, very slippery. Like, I've walked up that hill before, and you literally need to get down on your hands with your feet and kind of like shimmy your way up it, because the ground will slip out from underneath you.
Yeah.
And that's just not how it happened. So I don't know any way of faking that.
Yeah.
Other than some Hollywood movie magic, and that's not what happened.
Fucking George Lucas was using his CGI.
Yeah, that's literally like the only fucking explanation that I can. That's as believable as anything.
Yeah, it's like that fucking scene in like Meet the Spartans where they pull out the fucking green screen. They're like, it's just like a couple dudes, and then they green screen a whole army in, and they're like, oh, you know, like that's the kind of shit that would have had to happen.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. If any of you guys have ever had anything like that happen to you, I mean, I'd like some fucking explanation. I don't know. I know people always seem to have these this weird knowledge of, I don't know, supernatural beings. They're like, oh, that was a succubus. You know what I mean? They've got there's some ancient fucking thing that they invoke the story.
It was trying to suck your penis.
That's probably what it was.
Yep.
It was probably like the ghost of a Catholic priest's past or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't know, man.
I mean, yeah, dude, that's fucking weird. It's fucking weird.
I don't know, and like I said, I have no reason to lie about it. And I mean, you can believe me, anybody can believe me, or they cannot believe me, but I know what I saw.
Yeah.
But I have no personal stakes in lying to anybody about that. Oh.
That was weird. Just the little gurgles.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. But anyways, I don't have any personal stake of lying to anybody about it. Like, if you don't believe me, I don't like. It's not gonna make me cool that I fucking saw this. It's not gonna make me dark and mysterious.
You haven't wrote a book about it, or fucking went on,
or exploited the story for podcast content.
Yeah, or go on to like fucking the History Channel and be like, "Well, I thought it was ghosts, but it was actually ancient aliens."
Alien civilization, an underground civilization had arisen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think too that it's the amount of like, I don't know, man. I just think that it's brought me more of a disturbed feeling than a feeling of pride that I've got some cool story to tell. You know what I mean? I'd rather it never have happened and not have the story to tell. But that's the thing I never understand. It's like, why do people think that some crazy traumatic thing like that, like that's a good thing? Like, I don't want to. I want to unsee what I fucking saw.
Yeah.
Never understood that. Everybody, they always tend to act like they're, I don't know, like it's some type of privilege to have that experience.
Well, like with some supernatural shit, like the people like with the past lives people, they're like, oh, in my past life, I was the fucking butler to Napoleon or whatever, or something like somebody of historical significance in some way. But it's like, no, most likely you were probably some poor beggar that fucking died of starvation or died of diarrhea or something in your past life.
Yeah, or more than likely you didn't have a past life to begin with.
Yeah, like but if we're saying that they are a thing, it's like,
more than likely this is what you were.
Yeah, your life probably sucked a lot.
You're probably a fucking grasshopper or something.
Yeah,
you just turned into bird shit.
It's like, oh man, I remember my past life. I lived to the ripe old age of 23 and got a paper cut and died.
I drank some questionable water and got ass rabies.
Yeah. So, you know, there's some shit like that where it's like, okay, you know, that's... There's people that are, like, trying to flaunt, like, you know, that was before, like, the whole, like, Ancestry.com and all that shit was a thing. So they were like, well, nobody has a way to fucking prove this, so I'm just gonna say, yeah, I have this supernatural feeling that I was basically fucking George Washington, so you gotta think I'm important.
I love the people that have the like supernatural dreams. The dreams about stuff. It's like, man, your dreams mean absolutely fucking nothing.
Sorta.
Dude.
Depending on what kind of psychological schools you subscribe to.
Yeah, well, they don't fucking know any better than anyone else, you ask me.
No.
So if I were to ask one of these guys, like, okay, well, I literally had a dream to where I was tied to the back of a car and somebody shot me like 10 times, and I felt the bullets. It felt fucking real. What does that mean?
I mean, there's some things where you can't, like, subscribe a meaning to something like that, but it's just, like, there's some weird things, like, fucking more artistic people, their story, like, their dreams have like actual structure, like it tells a story.
Well,
instead of like in most normal people where it's just like, oh, I was just, everything was all happy hunky dory, and then all of a sudden I turn around and then the entire world changed and now it's a horror.
So
it's like
I've had dreams like that before that were very like they had a structured story. I'll tell you one right here in a second. But then I've also had dreams to where I'm just standing here and I'm like, yeah, and then I'm like, I'm gonna eat this cupcake, and then somebody comes up to me and then they're like, hey, wabba la 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 la, and I'm like, yeah, man, and then I wake up and it's just something stupid.
Yeah.
So one of the dreams that really stuck with me, that really had an entire story arc, was so I had a dream that my parents, for some reason we were moving, and I had this dream like 5 or 6 years ago. Actually, it's like 3 or 4. And I had a dream that we were moving to this new town. And it ended up being the town that Edward Scissorhands is from.
Okay.
So, the big castle on top of the hill that he lived in? That's where we were moving. So, we moved into this house, and I don't remember if I ever encountered Edward or not, but I know that there was, it was pissing me off because the house was haunted. It was just pissing me the fuck off. Like, there was this little ghost bitch. She would come up to me, this little girl, and I would be laying in my bed, which I looked like I was in a fucking medieval torture chamber. My bed was a stone slab. I didn't have a pillow or blanket or anything. I was just like, fuck, I guess I'll just go to bed. And I laid down on this stone slab, and I was like, man, this is fucking awful. And then all of a sudden I hear footsteps. I'm like, I look over and I see the little ghost bitch. I'm like, not this fucking bitch again. And she's like kind of transparent. She looks at me and she goes, and like screams and points at me. When she does it, it like paralyzes me. And I'm like, God damn, you fucking bitch, stop paralyzing me.
Yeah, those are the kind of dreams that I love, where it's supposed to be scary, but in your head you're like, God damn it, you're so annoying. Yeah, please.
Well, and I wasn't aware that it was a dream though. I was just like, fuck you, go. I was like, go the fuck away. Stop pointing at me, you stupid fucking whore. And she literally paralyzed me, and I'm like, God fucking damn it. And I'd like scream at her, and she'd finally go away. And then the kind of story this progresses, it actually had a story in it. I can't remember all of it, but one part of it that I remember is that this guy, it may have even been Edward Scissorhands, told me that there was a fight. There was this battle, this great war that I was chosen to be part of. And he took me into this little spot in my room, and there was he touched this thing, and it opened up this portal. And he's like, come with me.
He's like, I have ice cream.
I'm like, what the fuck?
I have some candy for you,
I'm
little
like,
boy.
all right, well, it's got to be better than this fucking ghost bitch paralyzing me all the time.
Yeah.
Like, because literally, I remember in the dream, I would get itchy, and I'd be paralyzed, and I'm like, you fucking bitch. Oh, my God, my nose is itching. You stupid. Go away, please. And I went into this portal, and there was just these great open plains, and there were a bunch of people riding these incredibly scary, like, graphic, beastly mounts. These monsters, they were riding them like on horseback is what it was like.
Yeah.
But they were flying around, and they were like these battle tank fucking beasts. And they're like, you, Mantis, you have the most powerful mount of them all. You have the mount that can only be ridden by you, and it will carry us into victory. In this war, and I'm like, all right, because I'm seeing like dragons and like these demon things with like armor plating and spikes, and they're wielding weapons, and some don't have eyes, and they're just like, rah, and they're like echolocating enemies and stuff. I'm like, this shit is badass. Like, I should be scared of this. I ain't scared of these motherfuckers. I dealt with Ghost Bitch for like 10 days.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, come. So we went to this like temple, and we did this ceremony, and it summoned it. And like there was this huge, there was like music and everything, and there was this big cloud of smoke. And my mount appeared, and the smoke was going away. And I catch the first glimpse of my mount. And it's this fucking like horse-sized green cartoon worm with a fucking unicorn with one eye and a fucking unicorn horn and this little like cartoon mouth. This thing looked like it was literally something out of fucking Adventure Time.
Yeah.
And it was like cartoony. And everything else was hyper realistic, and it was like something you'd see in the Lord of the Rings. And I've got this fucking green fucking
inchworm,
literally like an inchworm, and he's got a little saddle on his back, and he's like, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, this is what I gotta ride. And then I bitched about it, and they're like, no, you're the chosen one. Don't underestimate its powers. And I'm like, I'm not getting on it. And they're like, yes, you are. You have to. And I'm like, fine. So I get on this thing, and it's like, winky, 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 and it's doing the little inchworm thing for it. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. There's no way that this is me.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I remember is we were like getting ready for battle, and I'm just sitting here like a schlub, and I'm just like, this is fucking bull. Take me back to the ghost bitch.
Yeah.
I'll deal with the ghost bitch again. Just fuck this stupid shit. And and it had little bitty wings, like little tiny fucking like unicorn wings on the side of it. I'm like, this thing can't fucking fly. I'm like, can it fly? And they're like, no, the wings are just kind of aesthetic. I'm like, of course they are. They would flap. They'd be like, beep, 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 beep. It'd be literally like butterfly wings on a bald eagle. Imagine that. That's the size comparison.
That's like the equivalent of like when you have those dreams where you're like fighting somebody and you're like, all right, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this guy. And then as soon as you throw your punch, you're like, eh.
Yeah, it's like you're punching through water, and then you're like hit them in the face, and it's just like,
Yeah, they're like, bah, 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 and they beat the shit out of you, and you're like, oh my god, what the fuck? Yeah, that's like the equivalent of that. Just like, oh, here's your little inchworm, your little, you stupid little mount.
Yeah, that's the fucking kind of dreams that I have. I'm like, man, this could have been a really cool dream. Like, this could have been awesome. And then towards that point, you kind of become aware. You're like, yeah, this is a dream. This isn't a dream. This is a fucking nightmare. Yeah. This is what this is. This is awful. Man. I hate those dreams. There's literally one dream that I had to where I was running, and it felt like I was running through water, and there were these people chasing me. And every now and then, you get cinematic third-person views in dreams sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'd get a cinematic third-person view of a sniper scope. Down a sniper scope looking at me. So I was running, and I hid in this cornfield, and I remember being a little kid, and I was sitting here, and I was hunkered over, and there were these guys. They found me, and they were reaching for me. And that like ass puckering feeling you get?
Yeah.
That super anxious feeling, like if you ever been in a like a tickle fight with somebody, and you're like, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, but like in a bad way.
Yeah.
And anyways, I would literally sit here and I close my eyes and I'm like, fuck, I'm getting this feeling because they're about to get me. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's this fucking dream again. I had this dream like 6 times. I'm not kidding. And I had this feeling and it would literally last like 10 hours. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, please wake up. This is ridiculous. I'm like,
sucks.
This is the worst feeling I've ever experienced. Please, oh my God. No, and it was just pitch black darkness. And that was the worst dream. Pitch black darkness and that feeling for literally what felt like 10 hours.
Yeah.
It's awful,
man.
And then I wake up and I'm just like, man, I hope I don't have that fucking dream again.
Oh, yeah. I've never had any really reoccurring dreams. It's always different. But we're getting a little too off topic. We're supposed to be Halloweeny. I mean, some of these dreams are a little scary, but
I mean, if you're afraid of inchworms.
Yeah, inchworms and fucking screaming bitch ghosts.
Yeah. That's more annoying than scary.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think it's time to move on. Because I actually have like another really crazy kind of supernatural story that I may tell in the future, but can't throw out all the cards on one Halloween, right?
Yeah.
We got some other stuff. So what you got? You got anything?
I wanted to talk about scary movies.
Oh, okay. What scary movies in particular?
I was just wanting to talk about our favorites.
Okay. All right. So what's your favorite?
That's a tough one. That's a real tough one. Because I could go with the more memey answers of like that one movie I told you guys about the dinosaurs attacking people. That's supposed to be like an Aliens ripoff or whatever. That movie,
Carnosaurs.
Carnosaur. That's what it was. Carnosaur. I could say that, but I think like I really love the classics. You know, just a lot of the newer scary movies. Just, I mean, not even the old ones were scary, but at least the old classics were fun to watch
And original.
Yeah.
You know,
like,
they're
like Friday the 13th and like Halloween and all that shit. Those were the spicy good. Give me more.
Yeah. See, I always liked those, but you know, I actually
But like if we want to talk like quality, like the deepest meaning of like, oh, this is like the pinnacle of scary movies, it's probably The Shining. But
you know, I don't know if I've ever even seen that all the way through.
Really?
Yep. Everybody talks about it. You know, everybody's got the "Here's Johnny" meme
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah. I don't really know much about that. You know, Stephen King though, I did like that. I thought the movie The Mist was very captivating and scary, and the endings kind of sucked, if I remember correctly. But I don't know, maybe I wasn't old enough when I watched it to really understand it, but that seemed kind of creepy to me. But I definitely wouldn't say it's even close to my favorite. But have you seen you know, we'll kind of keep it newish on scary movies.
Okay.
We'll keep it newish. You know, one movie that I think I actually really liked, and I don't know if a lot of people did. I like that movie. It was directed by Rob Zombie, and I don't typically like his movies.
No, he's overrated.
Yeah, but he did a Halloween remake, or like a new Halloween. I liked it.
I don't think I watched it, but I heard about that movie.
Yeah, it was good. It's the one where you saw in the preview he like flipped over the car and stuff.
Oh yeah. It's that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually. I thought it was really good. I thought that was really well made, and it was very like. There was like a psychological horror behind it, because like there was a different kind of psychological horror behind, you know, Halloween before. It was this mysterious masked figure. You didn't know anything about him, but you kind of got to see the true psychopath. Like it kind of made you numb to how much of a psycho he was.
Yeah.
In the old ones, because you were so detached from him, and it was just the story was about the other characters, and he appeared. You know, he'd kill them.
Yeah.
You didn't know much about him, so that was scary. But this one's a different kind of scary. It's the scary of just, wow, so that's kind of inside the mind of a psychopath. That's kind of what led him to do this. You know, that's why he's acting this way. This is what's going on inside of his head.
Yeah.
And I thought that part was, I thought that aspect of it really made it fucking scary. Made it scary. It was very, it gave you a thrill.
Yeah.
And another movie, you know, I don't know if a lot of people are into these, but another movie that I saw, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was actually pretty good, was the first Insidious movie. I thought that movie was creepy as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I did. And then, you know, it plays that fucking song. It's like, through the window, through the garden.
Yeah. And that movie was, I'm not going to lie, dude, that movie was creepy as fuck. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about any of the other ones. Like, I was never into the fucking Paranormal Activity or any of that. But, dude, whenever I was younger, the Blair Witch Project really fucking creeped me out.
Oh, yeah.
That movie was just horrifying. Especially that ending scene where it showed the people, like, looking into the corner and the camera's just looking at them.
Yeah.
That style, that documentary type style is fucking, that shit's, makes it feel so real.
Yeah, like the first Paranormal Activity movie before they went to shit. The first one was fucking awesome. That movie was so fucking scary. Oh my god.
Yeah, they make it seem like it's real. You don't know if it is or not.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck? You know, you catch yourself Googling, like, is it real? And that's like in, you know, there was one Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one of the newer ones that I saw. It was made within the past 10 or 15 years. And I don't remember exactly which one it was, but I remember one thing that really creeped me out about it was they had the documentary style, like, video documentation that they said was obtained. They found in the house, and it was documented by the police. It showed the police going down the steps. They're like, you see some hair. There's hair, and there's nail marks going down the staircase. You know, the cops basically just stating what he sees. And then they're attacked. And then it freeze frames, and you see this blurred strewn out image of Leatherface. You see his face, and it has some captions, and it's just fucking. That was horrifying.
Yeah.
So that's kind of. I haven't really seen a scary movie in a long time, but those are kind of some of my like noteworthy movies that I would say are, you know, and I'd like to suggest something. There was some movie that I saw. I cannot remember the name of it. I can't. It's like I remember how I felt watching it, but I don't remember the name or remember what it was about.
Yeah.
But it was kind of this abstract, scary movie that no one's ever heard of, and I wish I could remember the name of it and recommend it. Because those are the types of movies that I like, the ones that that are like just jewels, hidden jewels.
There was one like that I've talked to a bunch of people about that I still can't remember the name of it, and I think I've just never bothered to look it up. But it's like where this lady, there was like these creatures in the dark that would attack people, and so, but it would like selectively choose a person, and there was like this one kid that always had like a drawer full of batteries and a flashlight to keep him safe at night or whatever. And like he eventually dies of something or whatever, but this girl, she's like trying not to fall asleep, you know, like trying not to get killed, and like her friend or whatever is like, oh, I'm real worried about you or whatever, and he's like, here, just take this, it'll make you less depressed or whatever. But he gave her a sleeping pill to like chill her out, and then she's like freaking out because she realizes what it was, and she like makes herself throw up, and like she gets sent to like a mental hospital or whatever, and she goes in she's like trying to find a way out. She goes in the closet, and there's like a shadow in there, a dark spot, and they fucking pull her into the closet, and she's like in a bubble, getting eaten by these things, and the people come in, and they're like, how the hell did she escape? And they like open the closet, and there's nothing in there, and they're like, huh, that's fucking weird. And she's like on the other side, she's like, help.
Those are the worst. You're like, no, help her. That reminds me, there's this movie that I actually watched a trailer for it recently, and I'm not really into like the whole psychopathic slasher films a whole lot, you know, really disturbing stuff. But there's this movie, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was it was made by Warner Brothers Studios, and it's a pretty big movie. And it was made in like 2012 or something like that. Well, they banned the release of it.
Really?
Yeah, it was like too disturbing, too graphic. They banned the release of it. So in the synopsis that I read of it, there was one of the most horrifying parts of it. This couple, this husband and wife, there's this serial killer, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this whole movie is based upon, it's called like the Quinnipiac Files or something like that, or the Quinnipiac tapes. It's some weird name, like I can't remember the exact name of it, but there's like this town in, I think, Wisconsin or Michigan called Quinnipiac, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's based off of this serial killer there that murdered 8 women and documented it graphic, like very much detail on video. Well, in this movie, this guy kidnaps people, and he records himself torturing them and killing them.
Yeah.
And it's like really fucked up, and it's in the documentary style. And it's made to look like it's old VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And they find all these tapes, and they're revealing them. Well, there's one of the most graphic scenes. This is why I think the movie was banned. It was never released online. It was never released in theaters, never released on DVD until recently. Recently, they actually announced DVD release of it. Well, the most graphic part that I've spoken about like 3 times already, the dude captures his husband and wife, decapitates the husband, and knocks out the wife, and then he cuts open her stomach and puts the husband's head in her womb and sews her up and wakes her up and lets her look down and know what's happening. Know that her husband's head is inside of her body. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I hate those movies.
Yeah. So that, if you're into that sick type of shit, look it up. Like, it shouldn't be fucking hard to find. I don't know exactly how to spell it. I don't know what it's called exactly, but look up that, like, Quinnipiac tapes or something. Google suggestions are a magnificent invention, so you'll be able to find it.
You know, me being the anime man of this podcast, I've come across some horror anime as well. And there's one that you need to check out. It's called Mononoke. It's like super like psychological horror, where it's just like this weird supernatural shit that happens. It's a really weird trip. It's a good one. Check that one out if you like anime.
Is it anything like, or of any relation to Princess Mononoke?
No.
Okay, good.
It's got a cool art style, but it's like really, really trippy and like really unnerving. It's like nothing about it is like really gory, because I don't like those kinds of movies where it's just like
either.
Super gory. Although there's one that's a classic to me. It's fucking Jeepers Creepers.
Oh man, fuck that movie. That movie was scary.
That was so scary when I was a kid.
Jeepers Creepers was fucking horrifying, because that was another one you're like, what the fuck is this thing? Like you don't know nothing about it. You're like, what?
He throws like the fucking belly button ninja star at the bus and like pops their tire or whatever.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck is a belly button? Don't take my belly. That's like that's like a kid's biggest fear, that you're gonna steal their nose or their belly button.
Oh my god, not my belly button.
Not my belly button. Anything but my belly button.
I never use it, but I have some weird attachment to it.
Oh man. You know, there's people that get surgery and they get their belly button taken away, and it's just a flat.
What?
Yeah, it's some weird fucking body modification. They take their either that or like they're just friends with Jeepers Creepers. They're like, here, you can just have my belly button. I don't care.
Well, they just like fill it up with like Play-Doh or something?
No, they just like cut it out, and then they like take the rest of the skin and stitch it back together.
Oh my god!
And it's just like a smooth, flat surface.
That seems weird. That would be like those fucking like you look like one of those like Japanese android sex robot
look like
things.
A fucking replicant. Is what
goddamn
you look like.
replicant.
Goddamn replicant.
Because they won't have umbilical cords, so they won't have a belly button.
Yep. That's how you know if you're dealing with a replicant, people. Like next time Hillary Clinton walks up to you, be like, bitch, let me see your belly button.
That's right.
She's gonna be like, no, why would I? That's inappropriate. Like, bitch, show me your fucking belly button. That's what Donald Trump should campaign on next time. Be like, instead of like doing the whole thing he did with Barack Obama, instead of being like Barack Obama,
show us your belly button.
Yeah, show us, instead of him saying show us your birth certificate, he's gonna be like, show us your belly button. And she's not gonna do it.
That's right. That's how we'll know.
She's not. That's how we'll know. If Hillary Clinton is a replicant, she won't show us her belly button. So there, case solved, case closed.
Yeah, case closed.
Illuminati confirmed.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, you heard it first on the Mantis show. Hey, you ever remember that those cartoons, not cartoons, those like movies they used to make with the thumb people, or that's what it was. They had like Gotham City. It was Bat Thumb.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, I remember that.
It was the thumbs, and they had the little people, the little faces on them, and they were like, "Hey, what's up?" And they all talked like that. They're like, I'm gonna save Gotham City. And it was just a bunch of thumb, like actual human thumbs that they had like animated some faces on. You remember that?
Yeah.
Those things, there's some of those, like looking back at them now, I wasn't creeped out then, but those are kind of fucking creepy. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like fucking, what was that one show that was on Nickelodeon where they were like puppets and they were all gross looking? It was like Mr. something or whatever. It was like they worked at like some restaurant. And it was like really gross looking. I forget the name of that one.
I don't remember the name of it, but I remember this one show. And for some reason, I think it used to come on Showtime. It was this, I can't remember the fucking name of it. I can't remember anything specific enough about it to where I can even really describe it. And I've done all the research I possibly can, but they would all I remember is this, it was almost claymation animated. And the only thing I can clearly remember is this weird fat guy, this like fat, gross-looking fat guy sitting in this recliner, and he had like these flies around him, and he would tune in and watch this TV show, and there was just all this weird stuff. Like, don't you hate that? There's a show that you really, and it was really creepy, but there's a show that you loved, and you used to always want to see it on TV, but you could never find it.
Yeah.
But you remember finding it before, and you can't remember the name of it, so you can't go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the show for me.
Yeah, man. That's how a lot of shit was.
Yeah,
There's a lot of little weird stuff that only had like a few episodes or something like that. Or like a weird like TV movie that was really good that you'll never fucking see again.
Yep.
Just weird shit like that.
I'm hoping, man, someday it'll come back. At least I hope.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'll never find it. But until next time, you've been listening to The Mantis Show. Thanks, guys, for tuning in again this week. And I hope you've had a nice little spooky, scary Halloween episode. And, hey,
Boo.
stay... Box, stop.
Boo.
I'm trying to do the outro. Anyways, guys, check us out. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at The Mantis Show and at Box Watterson. And we'll see you guys next week.
Boo.
Ah!